to Aromatic Chat, the podcast that introduces you to registered, clinical, and certified aromatherapists around the world. Every other week, my baby girl sits down with a different aromatherapist to learn about their aromatic journey and how they use aromatherapy in their lives and their business. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching, and my daughter Melissa is your host. She is a master transformational coach and a registered aromatherapist.
Hey friends, welcome to episode number 74, Aromatic Chat, with my friend Laura Stainer. Laura lives in a small town in southwestern Ontario, and she became a certified aromatherapist during the pandemic in 2021, which fulfilled a dream that was 20 years in the making. Once upon a time, she was a registered massage therapist, budding aromatherapist, reflexologist, and aspiring energy worker, but she left it all behind to pursue a career in nursing. However, the constant battle against stress and anxiety prompted her to come full circle, returning to complementary medicine to heal herself and, in the process, help others. I had so much fun chatting with Laura. I cannot wait for you to hear our conversation and laughter. So let's get started. Laura, I am so excited that you are on Aromatic Chat, and I'm going to tell all the listeners why, because I have been following you on Instagram for, it's been over a year. And I
think I've only been on there for a year.
I love what you're doing on Instagram and how you're sharing aromatherapy. It is so much fun. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. And I mean, like I was saying before we started, like, I'm just so honored that you would want to speak to me. And I just really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, I'm just so excited that you're here. And we even we've had some conversations through the Instagram app. Like, we go back and forth and talk. And I love that about social media. So there's so much I don't like about social media, but this is the part that I do love, is once you get out of the feed and you go into the DMs, you can actually start having conversations and getting to know people. And I have really enjoyed getting to know you and you call yourself weird, your weirdness.
Thank you so much. And it was because of probably Instagram that I found out about, it was the Aroma Summit, right?
Yes.
So when I signed up for the Aroma Summit, and then when I watched your, what would you call it? Your lecture or whatever it was like, oh my God, she's doing what I want to do. And then I just reached out to you, and you were so wonderful to just be like, let's talk. And I couldn't believe it. I was like an honest to goodness, like, aromatherapist or fellow aromatherapist, but I guess I don't consider myself being at that level. It's like, she wants to talk to me. Like, I just think it's so awesome.
Well, I agree. I love, and that's what I really like about the social media platforms, is getting out of the feed and getting into the DMs and actually getting to talk to people. And, my passion is helping other people succeed. So when you reached out, I was like, yeah, let's talk. Here, let's get together and I'll tell you everything that I do so that you can improve on it and make it even better. So, and I think you've done that, because I checked out your website, and very nice.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, very nice.
It's a work in progress.
We're just going to keep, giving each other kudos unless we actually get started. So I'm going to go ahead and just ask the first question. I would love for you to just share your aromatic journey, how you ended up practicing aromatherapy, because I know that's not where you started. So,
God, no. Well, in a way it was. Okay. So when I was a teenager, I had major back surgery, spinal surgery. And so when I was in high school and I started dating this boy, and his mom, well, I know it was his mom's idea, but he gave me a gift certificate to get a massage for Christmas or some occasion. And it was this clinic where she went. It was like an older home that was converted into a massage clinic. So I go to this clinic for my appointment, and, you walk in, and it was so cozy, and it's like the new age music's playing, and there was probably like a water feature of some kind, but the scent, like, as soon as I walked in there, it was just like, your brain is just sort of like, oh my God, what is that? What is that smell? What is that? I mean, I know now it was probably like lavender and rosemary and probably like peppermint and like it was like a massage blend or whatever it was. And I just was so like floored. And so then I get this massage and it was amazing. And how like for me as like a 16-year-old, like getting a massage, it was like the height of like luxury or something. And then I was just fascinated. And, I was asking her questions. I can't even remember the therapist's name now. It's terrible. But then I kind of really got into it. I would ask my mom, can I go back again? This is really helping me. And so, we just kept going back on like a regular basis. And I met this woman. Her name was Susie, and she worked out of her house. And she was like a full-fledged aromatherapist, and she would like let me smell the oils, and I had allergies, and she put the peppermint on the tissue and let me take it home with me, and I was just like absolutely just in love with it. But I'm a kid and I live in a small like town or a small city really in southwestern Ontario, and it was sort of like this stuff was just so out there, like out of reach for me, right? So then a bit later, my mom gifted me the Aromatherapy Massage book by Christine Wildwood. And like, I can still, like, it smells like from me buying stuff and making stuff with this book. Again, like geographically where I was at, there was no such thing as a university or a college that offered like holistic studies. There was nothing like that. The closest thing I got was like, I found this woman that taught reflexology out of her basement. And I thought that could kind of start like me on the track to doing, holistic modalities. And then massage therapy actually came to a school where I lived. And I was part of the very first ever graduating class from this massage therapy school. And I thought, this is it. They're going to teach me about aromatherapy in this class. They didn't even touch on it once. So it was like, okay, I guess I'm on my own. So I became an RMT. I was trying to have a practice. I was kind of winging it, learning on my own. There was only a couple shops that carried essential oils. Really, there was like a new age shop, and there was maybe like one of the health food stores. And just with this book alone, trying to just, you know, do my own thing, which was probably, I was probably doing it all wrong, to be honest. But I was trying. So, anyways, massage therapy, my practice, like I could never really get really established with a steady enough clientele to like make like I was starting to get really frustrated. I was in my early 20s. I was engaged to be married. I was like not making any money. And so I had to make the really hard decision to be like, I think I need to like switch gears. So then I went into nursing, and nursing was kind of, had always been the thing. It was like since I was a kid, I was a sick kid. I was in the hospital all the time. I knew I wanted to be a nurse forever. So I was like, well, I need to just, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it now because I can't just wait around for this. Like, it could be years to build a massage practice. Anyways, so then I became a nurse in 2004, no, 2003 ish. I graduated, and then literally the decade that followed is like a blur, to be honest.
I think most nurses
Um,
agree with that statement right there. It's just a blur. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was financially, it was great because I actually got a job in the United States, so I can commute from where I live over to Detroit into Michigan. So, I mean, I was making American money. I was working full time. Financially, I was, newly married. We really needed that. So, I mean, obviously, for all those reasons, it was really good. And then I had my first kid. And so between being a nurse, then starting my family, and then it was just like I just completely got lost. Like, I don't even like it's the irony of it is I could have used aromatherapy. Like, I needed it so badly back then without even really realizing it. Um, it would have helped me so much, but whatever, can't worry about it because I'm doing it now. So that's all that matters. But um, so basically working and being a mom and just all of that stuff, like raising kids and time's going by. And it was just stress. Like I just recall it was like one day it was just like, this is just me now. Like I'm just this anxious person 100% of the time. And I say it kind of jokingly, like that being a nurse has ruined me as a person, but it's really not a joke. It's really the truth. Um, but it hasn't, it's not permanent. Like I'm working to try to change things, but I mean, it's hard. Like no one can really argue with that. So then one day, my twin sister, or actually it was our birthday, she gifted me this cutest little basket and it was full of all these little bottles of things. And they had little labels on them. And it was little roller balls and it was little, there was bath salts and there was all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, what is it? She's like, have you heard of blank? And it was like, right on cue. This is like what I hear from so many of your other guests. But like, here comes the MLM portion of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, wait, what? Like, people want this now? This is a thing again? This is a thing? And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God. So I don't know how I hadn't heard about it. I guess I just wasn't hanging around with the, right people. But, a couple weeks later, I go to her house and she's got this beautiful little contraption going and it's, oh, this is a diffuser. And I'm like,
Shooting stuff into the air.
I'm like, oh my God. And then she shows me this box, which was, lo and behold, a starter kit. And Melissa, to be like, I can't even describe to you. It was like, hallelujah. Like, yes, like people want this now. Back when I was talking about essential oils and trying to be like, you whatever it was I was trying to be, nobody wanted any of that. No one cared about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden it's just like boom in your face everywhere. And when I was like, oh my God, sign me up immediately. But she had gotten me in an MLM before. I didn't even know I was in an MLM, to be honest, until we like went and had, the little powwow where they tell you about how it's a business. And I was like, as time was going on and it was like, oh, the monthly thing's coming up. You got to like order all your stuff. And then I was struggling to be like, yes, but why do I like, okay, I guess I'll get this. I don't really know why I want this. And then I was having trouble kind of like there was just started to be like not alarm bells yet. I was like, but why? Why are there so many that do the same thing? And why is there, I've never heard of this and why? And, because I basically was self-taught from like traditional English aromatherapy. Like they don't use very many oils at all.
Mm-hmm.
So to see this like gigantic, vast variety, it was like really took me aback, to be honest. Because I was just like, what on earth could you possibly do with all of these? When I started seeing like their, body work technique thing they had going on, where you're just like dropping straight oils in like many, 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 many oils with no dilution, like straight on someone, that's when it was just like, it was like danger, danger. I was just like, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
There's something is just really not right. Don't get me wrong though. Like I'm not hating on these because these companies are bringing essential oils back into the lives of so many people. Like how many people have you talked to where they're just like, this was this and then all of a sudden my friend introduced me because of this company and anything that's bringing it into the forefront is fine with me. When I would see things online, it made me insane. Like I was just things that advice that was being given that was just really unfounded, and like to tell people this will cure this and it'll cure cancer, and I just thought this is just wrong. Like
Right.
in 2018, I had moved into a new position with my job. And from 2018 to 2020 were like the worst 2 years of my anxiousness that I've ever experienced. Like my stress and anxiety was at a terrifying level. My palpitations would be so extreme and scary when I would be commuting to work. I literally would think I was going to pass out on the freeway. I wore the Holter monitor and went to the doctor and did all the things, and there was no medical cause. And I was just so sick and tired. I'm like, should I go to work or should I just go to an emergency room? I'm like used to doing hard things. Like I went to nursing school. Like they'd give you one class of theory, and then the next day you'd be at the hospital taking care of patients and not knowing what the hell you were doing, basically. Like baptism by fire.
Right.
I was used to doing hard stuff. It felt really scary, but I just did it anyway. So to me, it's just like, I'm so sick of this. I'm so tired of feeling like this. At that time, thankfully, I was already signed up to my course. I was slowly making my way through the material because, I had made the decision. I'm like, I'm going to get certified. I'm going to go back to school. And it was like, it didn't seem like a crazy financial investment. It wasn't too bad. And I'm like, this is doable. And I have 2 years to finish it. Getting through the material and then making myself blends. And the one day I'm rolling up to, the border, and that's when it would all, like my heart would start racing, like sometimes as soon as I woke up, but then it would really ramp up just as soon as I got to the bridge to like commute over. That's when it was just like I was just out of control. And then one day I inhaled ylang ylang and the palpitation stopped. And I was like, oh my God. Not like I didn't not like I didn't have faith that it worked, like it would work, but I said to myself, I was sitting there in the car and I was like, well, I was going to just be an aromatherapist just for myself. Like it was something I was going to do for me, and I just wanted to do it. Like I didn't really care much about making a job out of it. But then that happened. If I can help people, even just literally anyone, to never have to feel like how I felt. Like, I'm not talking about curing you, but even if in the moment you could feel better and just be able to like get on with your life.
Like you said, it's not that I didn't have faith that the essential oils could do what they claim, what they say they can do. But when you
Yeah.
experience it, it changes everything.
Yeah. Because of that, I'm like, well, now that I can control these symptoms a little bit, it kind of put me on a path of like really trying to restore and like rebalance my nervous system. I mean, I know this sounds probably kind of silly because I'm in the health profession, but to be honest, I can't know everything about everything.
Right.
There's literally a way you can recalibrate or like reprogram yourself. During COVID, I finished my course. Um, by 2021, I was done my course. And literally, it was just like everybody in my family or everybody I knew in all my case studies, it was like the number one item was you got to make you a personal diffuser.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing all of that and for being real. I appreciate that tremendously. I think the listeners will appreciate your authenticity. And I know that's a word that's kind of thrown around a lot now, but I believe that our stories are what connect us and our stories are what matter. And had you not chosen to allow yourself to be real, that would have shown through, right? But your realness is, I think, going to touch people. And there are so many people who are in career fields that just put their stress level on overdrive. And we don't even know it half the time until we get to this place where we're experiencing heart palpitations or the feeling like
Right.
if I don't turn around and go home, I'm going to die.
Yep.
That's anxiety. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I'm the kind of person that I just get it done, right? You just get it done. Whatever's coming, you just power through and you do it. And when I started experiencing that exact same thing, the anxiety, that the palpitations, and it was shocking to me, because I'm not that person. My mom was an anxious person. Sure, she was anxious, but I'm not. And it really threw me for a loop when it started happening. So I can totally commiserate with you in that story. Like, I didn't have to cross the border, to come in. So I didn't have like that, but the whole
It's true, if you try to ignore like this external thing and it's influencing you, and you can act like everything's fine, and you can just go on with it, or you can like self-medicate with alcohol, or you can, ignore it all you want and try to distract yourself. But it's those symptoms that are like, hey, you can't ignore this anymore. You have to make some actual changes to well, if you can't change your job, or you need to work on how can you change your mindset about how you are in your situation? And, that's why I think aromatherapy just goes hand in hand with so many other things that you can just do to do that work for yourself.
Right. Well, there's two really great books, right? When the Body Says No, and The Body Keeps the Score. And both of those are about that mind body connection. And what we're talking about is that, we disconnect. We go, nope, I'm going to ignore everything that's going on, and I'm just going to power through. And then your body eventually stands up and says, you can't ignore me anymore. And if you do choose to continue to ignore me, we're going to go downhill really fast.
Yeah.
And that mind body connection has to come back online for that healing to happen. And like you said, the essential oils are so great at making that connection happen again. I think, yeah, the essential oils are amazing for that. Okay, so we talked a little bit about your business, because you did bring it up. What is the name of your business?
So it's called Bespoke Aromatherapy. And the name kind of comes from two places. It's like, do you ever watch Schitt's Creek? Okay. So Johnny just says something, and he says something, he's like trying to act like he's like an everyman, and David just goes, says the man in a bespoke suit. And I thought, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then one of my like big time mentors that I admire too is Colleen Quinn, and she would use that word a lot too. And so I was like, well, bespoke, it's like, it means it's made, it's like, if you get a bespoke suit, like it's completely tailored to you 100%. It's not off the rack. And that's like exactly what my sort of philosophy, my blending philosophy is that aromatherapy will work for you if you use it, but if you don't love it, you won't use it if you don't love it, basically, is the idea.
And the majority of what you do is personal diffusers, which again, I think is so great that you've narrowed it down. This is what I do. So how do you think we can speak a language that people will hear?
I make reels on Instagram.
Yeah, you do.
Maybe next I'll be doing TikTok dances. Like, I don't know. I'm honestly so like about the connection. I want to hear what's going on with you.
Right.
Not only because it's might be helpful for you to just talk about it, but it helps me too, because I want people to know they're not alone.
Right. I agree with you though. And in this day and age, the connection is really needed. That connection between people is so needed, because people think they're connected because they're on social media, but without this conversation, without being able to have this back and forth, conversation, it's not connection. That's why I love when you came to me in the DM on Instagram and you're like, you're doing what I want to do. And well, let's talk. Let's actually
Yeah.
have a conversation. I agree with you. And the conversation is so important. And the other thing, being a bespoke creator, you have to know what's going on with the person.
Right.
Because, like you said, what works for you probably won't work for me. I'm a completely unique person, just like you're a completely unique person. And even though you have a twin, she's completely unique too, right?
Yeah.
And what works for you probably won't work for her. And
Right.
we have to be able to have that conversation. And could we create just general products, generic products? Sure, we could do that. But, and this is the point, right? You can pick up a generic product off the shelf with the hope that it will be an anti-anxiety, and you get home and you try it and it does nothing for you.
Yeah. And now
Because
you've lost all faith in
you've lost all
the
faith in
process.
aromatherapy.
Yeah.
Right. But that's
Yeah.
because the product wasn't created for you.
Right.
It's just a general product.
Right.
So yeah, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing with your bespoke inhalers. I love what you're doing on Instagram. I love seeing your reels and your regular
Thank you.
posts too. They always make me smile. I'm like, oh, she's so creative.
Oh, thank you, God. You're too you're
No,
too
you
kind.
are. You are. Because I struggle with that. The creating the reels thing. I can do it, but I'm always just like, whatever. I'll just
Because you know what though? It's like a real, yeah, it takes some time, but gosh, I used to be so like there was so much pressure. It's like I need to be blogging about
oh,
blah and like
we should
you
all over
know,
ourselves, don't we? We should all over.
yes.
I should be
Oh
doing.
yeah.
I should be doing that. Just let it go. Be like Elsa. Just
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, oh, I should, be doing this and do, but you're right.
tell us a story about how you've helped either yourself or a family member or a client with your bespoke blends.
There's somebody that I met recently, and this person just has way too much on their plate. And just one of her things was she just wanted to come home after working like one of her many, many jobs. She just wanted her space to be like a sanctuary where she didn't have to like worry about whatever. So I created her like a natural Febreze or like fabric fresh, like to just mist all over your furniture or your dog bed or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And just something so like just simple. It made such a huge like she just loved it. And I could just see in her face when she was telling me how much she loved it. And I just said to her, like the fact that I just took that one little annoying thing away for you, like makes my day. And then one of my other clients, she's one of my like longest time friends. We were nurses together before she retired. She's older than me, and she was in a motorcycle accident like many, many, many years ago. Anyways, she was left with her one leg that always gave her trouble. Her knee, nothing can be done. And she just was having pain. It was affecting her quality of life. So I've been making her like a joint rub for a while. Like she started out as one of my case studies and she's still just she gets her refills and I make adjustments to her formula or her, blend just because I don't want her to get sensitized because she's using it a lot and things like that. And it just like helps her just get through.
So what are some of your other hobbies besides aromatherapy?
I learned how to crochet and knit, self-taught from YouTube. And that is one of the most amazingly therapeutic activities that you could ever learn. And I encourage literally anybody to just try it. It's so calming. And again, it's that um, the repetitiveness of it is all part of this like brain rewiring. And it's just so relaxing and so satisfying. You take a ball of nothing and you make it into something, and it's just so cool. So I really like that. And basically, I love cooking. I love hanging with my kids and my husband. We love playing board games. We go camping. I mean, we don't get up to a whole lot, but we're really pretty close little family. And yeah, my
That's
kids are awesome. Like they're growing up and I love who they're becoming.
that's beautiful to hear, because so many parents, especially when their kids are teens, do not say things like that. So thank you for sharing that. I think more people need to hear that it is possible to
Yeah.
be in that place where you're loving who your kids are becoming.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's not challenging, but for me personally, um, like we're having, the best, to me, this is the best time. I can
Yeah.
be really honest with them and they're really honest with me too. And they see me in my mental struggles and they get it. Like, um, we all kind of share in a lot of the same things, and it's nice to just be supportive. And I mean, as far as aromatherapy goes, like my daughter, she lets me, make her things and do things, but like my oldest is sort of just like, get away from me, what are you putting on me, what are you doing? So yeah, but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
very supportive.
That's good. One of my grandkids asked me one day, can you explain aromatherapy to me? And I was like, oh, yes, I can.
Yay.
Oh,
Oh,
little budding
cute.
aromatherapist. This is probably not, but
Yay.
okay.
Yay. Oh, I love that.
So how can people find you?
Well, they can, if they're on social media, I'm on Facebook a little bit. Facebook and Instagram. My handle is at Bespoke Aromatherapy. Through my website, you can do a contact form, bespoke-aroma.ca. And on right now, I am renting a space every Thursday. I have like little office hours.
Mhm.
So I see people there. It's in Tecumseh, Ontario, on Les Bronx. And so you can see me there. But I am still offering like a virtual option just for like the intake portion if people just want to like have a chat. But you can reach out to me really like there's several different ways to get a hold of me. It's all over my social media and my website. So yeah, like if you just want to have a little chat, if you're not really sure, like you don't understand what an aromatherapy consultation is or what it's about, just message me. We'll talk on the phone and we'll just chat about it.
Excellent. And what are you working on right now that's got you really excited?
There's a local business who, they've got a cute little shop and she runs workshops just to kind of like get people in her store and things like that. And her store is like all local artisans. So I'm gonna be working with her to like do some workshops,
Mm.
a little bit of teaching, but mostly like a little make and take type thing, just small groups. Um, I had some good success with attending a holistic health fair recently, and I really like that because I think a lot of times it's the connection, and you're in that environment where people are already looking, they're already looking for you.
Mhm.
So it's just easy to be like, hey, I'm making these little personal diffusers. You want to sit down with me for 10 minutes and we can make you one? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, let's do it right now. So I really want to be, looking at the calendar to see when I can get into those type things because that was really cool. I really enjoyed it. You can be on or Instagram all day long, but if your ideal client's not there, then
Yeah.
you got to go find them.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You brought up that point of being at a holistic fair, which is where people are already looking for complementary modalities. So you're present with the people that are looking for you. And that's so
Yeah.
huge in business, especially when you're a solopreneur, just trying to get your word out that you
Yeah.
exist and that you're doing these things. Being able to show up where the people are is critical.
And showing your face, just even showing your face in your post or just literally showing your face IRL.
Yes.
Like that's key. It really is. it's like a real learn as you go type process is basically where I'm at. But I'm trying my best and I'm just doing it anyways. And it's
Yeah.
scary, but you know what? Figure it out.
Yeah. And you're not having any heart palpitations, so it's great.
Nope. No, no, not about this.
That's awesome. So as we close out, I always like to just offer the floor to my guest. Anything that you want to leave the listeners with?
Well, I just want to say, like, I've met so many cool people, like whether it's like online or at the holistic health fair or just like here and there and everywhere. And it's like the common theme, and a lot of people even on your podcast, like I was saying, David with the guy with Essentials by DK, like, I mean, like his story, like I just related to him so much. But that's not really his story is like honestly not that unique with like everyone that I talked to lately. It's like everybody, it's like they've been through something, they're going through something, and now they're just like putting something out there just for the like the greater good, or like because when you are like you're in this state, you're anxious all the time, you can't relate, you're afraid, you feel like you're crazy. You can hide away and you can suffer in silence, or you can tend and befriend. You can find other people like you, or you can figure out how to help other people like you. And that's what so many people are doing. And I just think it's so awesome. Like, you meet somebody and they do baked goods, or they do aromatherapy, or they make soap, or they whatever they're doing, it helped them. It was like therapeutic for them, or it got them out of the job that was like where the stress was just killing them, or whatever the case may be. Like you can do it, and like age doesn't matter. Sure, I wish I could have made this work 20 something years ago, but it wasn't the right time, obviously. I could have never done it. Like the timing is everything, and I believe that. And even though I had some rough years, it's all going to be kind of like downhill. And
Yeah.
I think that's and a lot of people, them just creating and like connecting and like, you make jewelry because it helps you with your mental health. And now you've got beautiful things to sell people and it makes them happy. And like, it's just, I haven't met anyone yet, like in probably the last year who's like, I make this for money. No, they're doing it because it helps their heart and it helps them and it helps others.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you.
I
You're
am
the best.
I'm just so glad that you said yes. And I know you were nervous coming on, but I appreciate your showing up real IRL, right? I appreciate you showing up real today. Because I do think people are going to hear your story and resonate. And I know that's a term that's overused in our circles as well, resonate, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the connection is going to be there. And I just really appreciate you. And I do encourage everybody to head over to Instagram and follow Laura. No pressure. No pressure. Because I just love your reels. Just go back through her feed and just watch some of her reels. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and I've got a whole bunch of audio saved, so got a
Woo!
whole bunch of ideas on deck.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much.
I know that people say it all the time, but I hope you could hear it from Laura and my conversation that we really mean it. It's the connection that matters. And honestly, I was so thrilled when she reached out to me after the Aroma Summit in my DMs on Instagram so that we could have a real conversation. And because of that, I made a new friend. And I'm so thankful for Laura. I'm so thankful for her honesty today, for her genuine tears as she shared her story. And I really feel that there are many people out there who get it, who commiserate, who have the same thing going on in their lives. I didn't share this part of our conversation, but I went through something very similar. I was working a job that I loved, and something shifted in me. And I started experiencing the same types of symptoms that Laura was talking about, the heart palpitations, the off-the-charts anxiety, which was just not normal for me, and it threw me for a loop. And I did visit my regular medical doctor, and I went through counseling, and I did all of the things, but I still struggled with the things that sent me to that place. I still struggled with the things that caused the symptoms, even though I wasn't experiencing the symptoms anymore, because I did learn beautiful tools that could help me manage my symptoms. But I didn't just want to manage my symptoms. I wanted to overcome them. And I know I say this at the end of just about every episode, but it is true. And I want you to know that it's so true. Until I started working with my own transformational coach, until I started really digging down and figuring out where all this started for me. It wasn't until I did that the difference really was made. So I do want to encourage you, if you're thinking about it at all, if you're thinking, I don't know what I should do, I encourage you to reach out and schedule a complimentary discovery call. If you're a nurse and you resonated with Laura's story, I encourage you to reach out to her. And like she said, you can reach out to her in a DM and she'll respond. And I'll do the same, as evidenced by my conversation today with Laura. I really do love it when people move away from the platform and into the direct message. I want to be able to have a conversation with people, not just share information. So I do encourage you, reach out, schedule a complimentary call, either with Laura or with me, and let's get you on the path to healing. Because we shouldn't just have to manage our symptoms, we should be able to overcome them. So if you're in that place where you're ready to make a difference, when you're ready to make a change, go ahead and reach out. Don't wait. I really hope you enjoyed this Aromatic Chat episode with my friend Laura Stainer. I do encourage you to go over to Instagram and check out her reels. She's having a lot of fun there, and I think it comes through in every single one that she posts. And I'll include all of the links mentioned in the show notes. I do also want to encourage you to head over to buymeacoffee.com/aromatic chat. There you can access some of the content from the chats that don't make it into the final show. I also upload some meditations, and those who are members have early access to all of the episodes. Simply head over to buymeacoffee.com/aromatic chat. That's buymeacoffee.com/aromatic chat. If you've been listening for a while, you know the Aromatic Chat is produced by me, Lemon Balm Coaching, and you can connect with me, your master transformational life coach and registered aromatherapist, on the web at lemonbalmcoaching.com. I would love to read your reviews, which you can leave on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or at buymeacoffee.com/aromatic chat. Reviews make it possible for other people to find the show, and by leaving a review, you're helping me with my mission of connecting people with the aromatherapist that meets their needs. I will see you next time with our next episode. Until then, peace, love, and aromatics.